Hi, this access tutorial of payroll management system I developed earlier. So let me show you guys how this works. Okay, with all of this information here and there, I've already saved that onto the database right here. Okay, that is it for Wally Williams. All of this information are there. Okay, so let's supposing we want to carry out some maybe adjustment to the wages, so we can just come right in here and maybe increase the wages to about that a week and the weekly weightings. What about the overtime? So we're going to have to carry out deductions there and maybe validate the tax code here to about that, right? Which means we need to change this as well. So if I click on save record, take note, let me first of all show you guys what's in there. Can you see that? So if I come in here and say save record and go straight in onto the table, and that is it. You can see the validation has taken place. Okay, all right guys, so what I'm going to do now is maybe we can also add new staff members details, and still working for Omen Aviations, and enter his London weight in there and wages per week and overtime. Let's say it's put in about £18 worth of overtime, and here just enter the weekly whatever tax period, tax code, national insurance number, NI code, taxable and pensionable. Alright, so all we just need to do now is click on total. Once you click on total, and we can even add some recommendation in here. So let's say for period 7, and okay, save that, and let's validate the whole information on the database itself, and let's see, that is Peter Moore. That's it right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now guys is take you guys straight into access development environment, and we put one of these together. So let's do that now. Hi and welcome to Microsoft Access tutorial of payroll management system. Yeah, it's going to be developed using forms and so on. So let's start by clicking on the blank database and call that payroll. Alright, so click on create. There we go. So let's click on design. Now I'm going to give that call it payroll. Now the first field in there is going to be, let's refer to it as reference number, and it's going to be followed by, let's go for maybe employer's name, then we have employee name. Okay, so I'm going to just speed that up, and there we go guys. This is how it all looks like. Right, so I've just shown you how to start it for those of you who don't know how to start that. Okay, those are all the components that we have on board. So if I double click on the payroll itself, there we go guys. Let's collapse that, and that's what you get. Alright, okay, as you can see, the table is not populated yet. So to take care of that, I'm going to be using form. So let's click on create, In there, I'm going to select this menu right there, form design, and let's right click on the form design and select properties. Okay, right in here, let's change the back color or the background color, make it a little bit so I think that's fine, and let me change the height to approximately 18, and the width I can just drag that anyway. Let's collapse this. Okay, how about that? Now let me save this form first. I'm going to call it payroll. There. Now let's come into, we need to find out where the data are, so let's select here on the form and we come into the data. Okay, make sure you select here, you see up there. Let me close it again so that you guys see it. You must select up here, but if you right click, then you have to select the form properties to get the data source. If you don't want to right click, make sure this is selected, then you still have to right click. Anyway, the data source that I intend to use is from this table called payroll. Okay, now I've selected the table called payroll that I created earlier. You guys can see the table here. That's the table, and that's the form that I saved. Now that the data source is selected, I will now go to add existing fields right in here. Okay, click on that. Those are the existing fields, okay, that I intend to add. But the other thing is, I like to design my interface the way I want. Okay, first thing first, before adding this existing field, let me design or modify my interface. I think this is label. Enter a label there, and that very label I'm just going to call it payroll. Let's say management systems. Okay, let's select that. I think that should have a property as well. Okay, let's see the property. Okay, let's just select the property of that. Right, let's look for the size, font size. Let's see, 48. Maybe that is too large, maybe not. Okay, I can always reduce it anyway. Now let's see the back color. Back color is background 1. Let's see, that means we can change this to whatever color we want. Right, so I'm going to press undo, select that. Okay, as a group box, let's see here, that's a group box. Alright, let's draw a group box there. I don't want any of those, so I'm just going to delete that. This is my group box, and inside my group box I'm going to enter some content in there. For now, let's collapse that. Yeah, I'm going to have to add some data into it. Alright, so let's come into add existing field right there. The field I intend to add in there would be, let's go for the reference. I want the reference number right in that box. Alright, this is how it's looking now. Let me see if I can, one way or the other. Alright, so let's continue with the design of the interface. Or maybe I should just speed that up because it's taking some time. Yeah, let's speed that up. So to speed it up, you see all of these existing fields here. I'm going to add them onto the form. So just to save time, I'm going to have to do it speed it all up. So far guys, this is how it looks. Let me just run it so that you see how the form looks like. This is how the form is looking right now, but we still have more work to do. So the next thing I want to do now is, let's move this aside. Okay, then the other thing is, alright, you see, add existing field. That is where all the fields are. The next field I intend to select is tax, pension, student loan, and national insurance. Drag that and just drop it here. So I will now modify this and just get back to you guys. Okay, this is how it's looking right now, and I've also added the following: gross pay, deductions, and net pay. So I might as well just select those components, and let's come to format here, because you can just format it here. Let's change that to 18, and I think I should do that for all of these ones anyway. Let's change it to black. Right. Okay, so if I run it now, come here and run it, let's see, this is how it's looking. Yeah, that's how it's looking now. So I just need to add the rest data in here and get back to you guys. Maybe let's go back to design. Now back on the design, back on the form, let's go to the design itself. That's the design. Let's come straight to add existing fields. The other fields I intend to add will be payday, that's good, and I need taxable pay and pensionable pay. Right, I also need, I think I'm going to need recommendation. Let's move this one up here, and I'm going to need recommendation. Let's see if I can get hold of the properties of this very one here. If I can get hold of the property, I might be able to change it here. Or maybe let's save everything first. Come straight in here and close this. Make sure it's saved. Close that as well. Let's go to the table and the design here. Let's come down here. Recommendation, there we go. You can see it's long text, so in that case I can always change this. You see, text format, instead of plain text I want to change that to rich text. Rich text, yeah, it's now rich text. Okay, so you guys should be able to do that as well. Alright, let me go back to my form. I'm gonna have to close that. Go back to the form. It's now a rich text box. You can see that. Okay, so all I just need to do now is to format this, make sure it's well positioned, and get rid of this. I thought I got rid of it before. Then before we can start with the whole coding, so let me get rid of this again. There we go. And one other thing, I'm going to need some buttons, which you guys will, I'll show you guys when I'm adding the buttons anyway. So let me just modify this and I'll come back to you guys. Okay guys, this is how the interface is looking now. Let me just run it for you guys to see. That's how it's looking now. So like I said earlier on, we now need to add buttons. I'm going to add those ones here. So let's come down here. Go back to the design view, and right here, you see right up here. Okay, if you don't have this menu, it's right here inside design. Okay, come to the design, and I need buttons. That's the button right there. I'm gonna click on that and just paste it here. Okay, now this command button wizard pops up. The first one I want is, I don't want to navigate. Okay, let's say I want to save whatever I've done. Okay, all you just need to do is click on next. Some of it I'm going to be using macro, and some I'll be using programming. So let's select save records. I don't have any pictures, so I'm going to leave it as save records, and let's click on next. So let's give that a name. I'm going to call it BTN save. Yeah, and just click on finish. You see, that's the name that I picked, save record. That's that there. So that means whatever data I enter in here will be automatically saved onto the table. Now let's add another button. Okay, this very button, let's say that one is going to be for, let's look for form operation, close the form. Okay, close the form. In the case of this very one, I'm going to make some adjustments. So I'm going to change that to exit, or maybe we can just leave it as close the form. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. And the name is going to be BTN exit, and click on finish. Move it up a little bit there. Okay, with this button selected, this very one, because I want to, if I run it, I can just close the form just like that. If I click on it there, see, it's asking me to save whatever I've done. Yes, saved. Okay, but it did not ask me if I really want to exit. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. If I click on save now, you see that is gone. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will have to select this very button. Let's go back in there and come to design view. I will select that very button, come to the property, okay, property sheet there. Okay, now let's go to the event. That's the event. The button is actually using an embedded macro. I don't want you to use an embedded macro. I will change that. That is where the coding comes in. Okay, I change it to event procedure. Once you select the event procedure, you can then click on this button with 3 dots. Okay, and that brings you to the coding area. So I'm going to declare as follows: dim I exit as Visual Basic VB message box result there. Now I exit equals message box, enter speech mark, and in there just enter confirm if you want to exit. Okay, confirm if you want to exit. Close that, enter a comma there, and let's put VB, another VB inbuilt function, which is question, and plus VB yes no. Okay, that will generate yes and no for me. And here let me just enter payroll system. That's the name of my program, and close that. I will now use if statement to determine the selection made. If I exit equals VB yes, then what I want the system to do is, I think the way exit is done here is totally different. Do command dot close. Yeah, do command dot close as form, this one. Okay, comma me dot name. It's totally different method. Then we just need to say end if. That's all. So have a good look at these very lines of code if you are interested in things like that. Okay, so I'm now going to come in here come up here, form, click on close form. You see that, guys? No, so we are not going to close. Yes. Okay, save whatever I've done. Yeah, because it has to be saved. So let's come back in there now. Okay, close. No, close. Yes. All right, so that is how you write your exit command. Now let's come back in here. Okay, I think the other thing I'm going to have to do now is, you see this, I may have to move it up. Yeah, let me move it up. Okay, this is how it looks now, so I'm just going to run it and let's see. Yeah, that's how the whole system looks. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to have to change this one. Let's change it to a text box instead of a combo box. So what I'll do is, let's close it and save it first and just close it. And right in here, double click on that. Now design, that is it right there. Make sure it's selected. Let's come to lookup and just change that to text box. Save that. And the other thing I like to do is save that first. Close this before I can open that. Now for the other one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm gonna have to create a table for this. Okay, well, first thing, let's delete this and replace it. Okay, come right down here. So I'm gonna have to delete this, so let's get rid of this very one and replace it with the new one. Now undo that. Yeah, it's alright. Come in here and just grab this, place it right there. So that's the new one. Okay, so that's taken care of. The next thing we want to do now is, let's take care of this very one here. So I'm going to need what is known as tax period, tax code. So let's create 2 more. Let's start with 2 more tables first, and I'll show you guys what I'm about to do, because I'll be referencing whatever table I create with this one. So let's come in here, let's create a table. On that very table, I'm going to save it as tax. I think it's called tax period of tax. I'll call this very one tax code, and look at the other ones. Alright, that's my tax code there. And for the tax code, come to design view. I'm going to get rid of the primary key. Just for the tax code, let's say tax code there, and we don't need to just populate the tax code with the code. That's all. Now let's see, what is that? The data type. No, let's make it here. Save that and just enter our tax code. I'm going to call it TC 1500. Okay, then we have TC 2500, TC 3500, and so on. Okay, those are my tax codes, so I'm just going to save that. So that's taken care of. Close that. The next one is, okay, tax period. Alright, let's start another one. New table. And we're going to save this as tax period. Try that again. Right. So copy it, save, and design. So the tax period, that is simple. So all we just need to do is enter tax period, and for the tax period that will be numbers. Shall we make it? No, just call it short, that's fine. And come to the design, save, and that will be 1, 2, 3, 11, 12. Okay, so that's the tax period taken care of. Okay, then close that. For national insurance number, you're gonna have to enter that, NI code, and payable. Okay, so for the NI code, let's make that up. Come in here, let's save this as NI code. Let's come right down to design, get rid of that NI code. So NI code is done. Save, come to, and just no, let's go back. We want it as short, that's fine. And just enter our NI code. So that might be NI. That is the code. So we just make that up anyway. Let me speed that up. Okay, we have all our NI numbers there, our NI code. That's fine. Save that. Okay. If I close that, that means all of this 1, 2, I think I have, yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Okay, they will become combo box. So let's come in here. We need to change this to combo box and change this to combo box as well. So let's come into the save, come into design. Scroll right down, tax code. That will become a combo box, and NI, that will become a combo box as well. Yeah, and save that. Okay, I think we're gonna have to replace that as well. Those two. Come back here and delete this first. Delete that and grab another one. Tax code. This one in there. And let's move that in. Okay. Then the other one that needs replacing is this two. Here. Delete that. Open this up and just replace that with NI code. Right, I'm going to modify that and get back to you guys. Okay, the modification is all done, so I'm going to select all of these and let's come to format here. Let's change the colors of the text to black, so that is fine. Right, I think it's all bold. Take that off. Okay, now I need to assign content in here to each of them, so select this first. Okay, now let's go to design, and right inside the design we select the property. And then let's go to format. It's not there. Let's come down here. Okay, it's going to be alright. It's right here. Role source. Sorry, select the role source, drop it down, and the role source, that will be tax period, this one. Repeat the same thing for the code. The role source for the tax code is code. And now NI number, come in here and select NI code. So that is that, all done. The NI number, we just enter the number, whatever number of the employee. Okay, let's run it and see how that's going to look like. Okay, we have tax period. The tax period for this year, for this month, is 7th, and the month is July. And tax code, the national insurance number, we can just make that up, NI whatever. Okay, and here NI code, we can make up any code there. So that is it, and that's very good. Now the next important one is we must enter reference here, else we will have an error. And here we enter the company's name. So let's say is Omen Aviations. So Omen Aviations, then the name of employee, let's say is Paul Omen himself, and address 7 Frogner, London. Code, let's say 5, that's my code. Taxable amount, so that's going to be maybe about, judging from here, it's going to be about 15,680. No, it's 5,000 plus 5500, and the taxable is that pensionable. Yeah. So all we then need to do is just click on save record. There we go, it's saved. So if we close this, or if we open up our table here, that record should be in there. Look at it, it's right in there. But the only thing that the record did not do is to carry out all the calculations. Alright, so let's close it. Let's close that, come back in here. Here you guys might not be able to see it. There is a navigation bar there that you can just click on to go to the next one. Okay, alright, let's see if you guys can see the navigation bar right there. That's the navigation bar. Okay, that's the first one and the next one. Alright, now the next thing we want to do is to do some calculations. Okay, to take care of the calculation, we're going to need some buttons. I think a button actually. So let's close that and come in here. Let's close this property and right down here I'm gonna need buttons. Come up here, grab the button. Now paste that in here. Okay, the category of what I want is now there, so I'm gonna have to just make that up. So let's come into operation. Okay, if I select new, I can always use new. Okay, just like the navigation button there. Alright, so I can use that, that's fine. Add new. So we have something to add new. So I'm just going to call it BTN add new. That is fine. Move that here, or maybe somewhere there. The close button. Maybe the close should go far. Bring this here, and the close stay right there. Alright, now we need one more button. Okay, the last button I'm going to need is the one I will use for my calculation. I'm just going to select any button here, just anyone will do. Okay, we have the one for delete record, but I won't go there. Let's select maybe save or anything. Alright, now let's change the name. So I'm just gonna call it total wages. That's it. Let's call it BTN total wages. Finish. You see this very button, when we come straight to the property here, that's the property, and come straight to event. Look, as you can see, the macro is already assigned a macro to it. So I'm going to change it to procedure, and now come right in here, click on that, open up the code area. Within the code area, and let me enter net pay, net underscore pay equals, let's say basic. I think it's called basic pay, something like that. Let's see what is called basic salary. Basic underscore salary. Okay, I want to add plus, I think the next one is London wage or inner city wage plus maybe inner city wage. I think, let's get that name right. No, inner city within. There we go. Let's copy it and paste it right in there. Now there's one more. The other one is overtime. We need overtime. There we go. No, not that. Yeah, overtime. Yeah. Okay, copy that of overtime. There. Alright, now that I have those in place, I'll just delete that. Okay, if I run the program now, let's save, come in here and just enter inner city wage. Yeah, no, that's too much. Come on, yeah, about that. And let's say the salary is about, let's go for maybe £50. If we click on this very button, this one, you see that gives you the total. Alright, so that is the total net pay. Okay, so let's continue. So what I'm going to do is this value here, I'm going to assign it here, then we'll deduct whatever deduction here to get this. Alright, so let's come back straight into the codes now. No, we don't need that. We need this. Yeah, we're right. Do that. Okay, let's come right inside the code. Yeah, okay, right there. In the first place, I need the name. Okay, it's pay, gross pay. Gross underscore pay. Right. Okay, gross pay is taken care of. Now to get this tax, I think that is called just tax. Okay. When I say tax equals all of these here, let's copy all of that. I'm going to put them in a bracket, multiply by 9 divided by 100. That is my own tax there. So let's copy these then. The next one is going to be, that's a pension. So I'm going to make that up as well. My pension, maybe let's say we're paying about 12%, and student loan underscore loan, yes, and that would be about maybe 5%. And finally, NI payment. I think it might be right. NI payment. Let's say that's about 3%. Right. Okay. So let me just run it and see. Save it first. Run. And yeah, that works. Add records, and in here we add in, let's say it's about £70, and this one is about 4, and let's say we have about 30 there. I think I'm gonna have to increase that. Alright, if I click on this, alright, that's fine. So now I need to add all of these together right in here. So deduction, let's go back in there. Let's stop this program. Yes, save. Okay, we must enter a value in there. We can always add that to our record anyway. And let's say the name is Williams. Okay. Now let's add that to our records and just close it. I'm gonna now close this so that I have enough room. Okay, then let's come in here. Now that we have the deduction, we now want to deduct this from this to get this. No, we need to add all of this together to get this first. Yeah. Okay, back in here. Properties. There. Now we want deduction. Deductions equals we're adding up all of these. Tax plus pension plus student loan plus NI payment. That is deduction. We now want net pay to be equals gross pay minus deduction. Right, that might do it. Okay, let's save and run that. Let's see how it's gonna look like. Right, we add new record. We have reference in there, and the name is, let's say, is Tony, or the firm is, let's say the firm is Canada Dry. And the name is Tony Montana. Address, let's call it Montanasville. Okay, Montanasville, that's fine. And that is 67Y 67YU. And then this is going to be, and this is about, we may have to increase this one. And here, let's say that is 20. If I click on this, there we go, guys. You see that is working how I want. That is fine. So that's period 7, tax code, and NI code, national insurance number. Let's make this up too. There, and the dates right there, guys. You see that? That's beautiful. Now what is left for me to do is, let's make these buttons look presentable. Okay, I'm going to, all the data I have in here, I'm going to now save it onto the record. And if you come in here, payroll, there we go. You see it, Canada Dry, Tony Montana, and so on. We can close that. Now come in here and just modify. Let's come in here to modify those buttons. Take it up. And this as well. One more. Right. Okay, now that everything is working the way I want, maybe I should add a delete button, because I've just made enough room for that. Let's come back here. And we can have a delete button somewhere in the middle. What are we deleting? Alright, no, we don't need that, because we already have this. Okay then. Okay, I'm not going to add any delete buttons, so let me just add a frame to my buttons there. Click, just draw it here. Alright, cancel that and get rid of this here. So let's run it again and see. Okay, that's fine. That is very beautiful. And right here I have recommendations or anything. You can always enter information in there. So let's just make up a story there. Let's say July 2017. Payments management system for Captain. That's not the spelling. Alright, that's the payment for this guy, and that's me, Captain Paul Oman. So with that, guys, I'm gonna call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoy it. Yes, it is different, but I think I like it. There's going to be more of this access tutorial, so you guys just do subscribe and thumbs up. I think that will be encouraging. So with that, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.